Hey guys, I'm Brian Zabierek, one of the Zab Twins. You guys might have seen us in the industry in terms of content and everything in between, realistically. We've been selling on Amazon for the past 6 years now. We're doing about 5 million a year current state across our brand portfolio. Super excited to be sitting down here with the one and only Brandon Young today. We use his software and it's an absolute game changer. Do you want to take some time to introduce yourself as well?
Yeah, so I'm Brandon Young. I've been selling myself also since 2015. Our own brands are doing about 20 million a year. So aside from having our own brands, we also have been teaching since 2018 as well. And we launched our software in 2022, which helps with SEO, keyword research.
So today I'm going to be talking with Brandon. We're going to be riffing and just chatting about some of the things that we're doing to prepare for big sales events like Prime Day, but even more so things that we do during Prime Day and also post Prime Day. I think it's a whole thing. It's almost like it's like a Q4 is really what it comes down to with these things. And it's so important to be in the mindset of understanding when these sales events are coming up and doing all the actions that is necessary to make those as successful as possible. So Brandon, I'm curious, what do you like to do before Prime Day, or even more so, how many days before are you preparing for it?
So what's interesting is like the week before the big sales event, you usually see a dip in conversion rates.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will try to back off their ads. I'm not a big fan of doing that. Instead, what I'll do is maybe lower the budget slightly. So I'm not spending necessarily as much per day, but I'm not lowering my bids. I'm still trying to target on certain top of search or placements. But what you find and where we really try to hit it is we'll look at campaigns historically that have been on the cusp of being great, but not quite good enough. And then we'll look at additional keyword research for long tail keywords, maybe stuff that we can find that we weren't targeting for a while. And maybe the conversion rate was 8, 10, 12%. And our litmus was, our bar was 15, 17%. And those become 15, 17, 20, 25% during the event.
Yeah.
Your ads will just convert significantly better. So you have to expand what you're targeting, and we'll turn on some exact campaigns. We'll turn on phrase campaigns. We'll even turn on broad campaigns, targeting a lot of these long tail phrases. And by long tail, I mean like it has an additional descriptor in it. So it's not just like the main phrase. And I'll give an example, like a toiletry bag. You don't want to just target toiletry bag. That's going to be very broad. You're going to waste your money. It's going to be very competitive. But if you have a very specific type of toiletry bag, let's say you have a men's bathroom bag or
Leather.
leather or something, maybe it's got something about it. It's wide open or, hanging, right? But it's specifically for men or a specific color. Those descriptors are going to be where you really want to expand because you're going to be able to get so much more coverage for those keywords specifically on those big days.
Absolutely. Long tail keywords, I think, are hands down the best opportunity for a couple different reasons. Number one, they're typically less volume, but they're more highly convertible. But on top of that as well, having a hanging leather toiletry bag, you're still going to be able to push velocity to toiletry bag. You'll naturally come up in your ranks as well by pushing those campaigns. And by the sounds of what you had mentioned, it's really trying to take advantage of the opportunity to help get more campaigns and keywords to perform so that you can scale after the event, even afterwards, getting more data.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the entire point is that we use conversion rate as our main lever for ranking organically.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to create a halo effect that we perform very strongly during these sales days. The other thing that is a big warning here is that you're going to sell a ton of units. So you don't want to put your foot on the gas if you don't have the inventory prepared, because running out of inventory on Amazon is very bad, right? If you're out of stock for more than 3 or 4 weeks, you can hurt your organic ranks long-term.
Yeah.
So when you come back in stock, you don't necessarily recover to the same level. That's just the nature of the way that the algorithm works, where they're accumulating history and performance even while you're out of stock. So think of it as accumulating zeros instead of accumulating those performance metrics. And 2-3 weeks can be fine, but 3, 4, 5 weeks, you start to hit a point of no return sometimes. So make sure you have enough inventory where you're planning on 5 to 7, even 10 times as many sales in that 3 or 5 day period.
Absolutely. I think looking at least for people that have been selling for multiple years, looking at your historical data on some of these big sales events, even your Q4 data, anything that there is extraordinary results or additional traffic, look at that data and try to make some correlation in regards to how much inventory to order, right? You want to be in a position where you can truly take advantage of that. Hopefully you can stay as profitable as possible during those time frames. But even more so after the fact, I personally, you have like, I call it the Prime Day hangover or big sales event hangover. So you typically slow down. What's your strategy then? I think a lot of people get scared and they're like, oh, all this work that we put in during these crazy events, you know what I mean? They take a step back and they're like, was it worth it?
Right.
What's your mindset there? I'm curious for your perspective.
Yeah, I think that there's, obviously a minimum requirement to participate in Prime Day. So they have the Prime exclusive deals and the badges that you can get. That's a really important program for you to participate in.
Yeah.
Now, the way that Amazon Prime Days typically work is they will have funnels on the homepage that lead people to deals. And so even if you're searching like you normally would when you're shopping on Amazon, what happens is they'll only show products that are participating in the deals. So if you're not going to participate in the deal, your traffic is going to be roughly the same, and it's going to be very difficult for you to get that additional exposure. So the biggest tip I would say is try to figure out a price point that you can price your product at for a month leading up.
Yep. I did this.
But discount heavily with coupons, because coupons don't count against your lowest sale price in the last 30 days. So run a couple lightning deals leading up to the Prime Day, and then make sure that you have your actual selling price higher, but bring it back down with a big coupon so that you can still get conversion rate leading up to the deal.
Yeah, that's really smart, honestly. I think that's the best way to do it, because with a Prime exclusive, typically it's 15 to 20% that you have to take off to take advantage of that promotion. So talking about profitability, right? How can you be as profitable as possible throughout the actual event? That's
exactly right.
Yeah.
Because if you have your normal selling price and you're already super competitive, and we know our margins are already tight, then you participate and you just discount straight from there at 20%, it's going to be tough. Then you're spending more on ads. And so typically, like you were saying, sometimes the juice isn't there. It might not be worth it. Mm-hmm. But if you prepare 30 days out and you raise that price, you turn on some coupons so that you can still sell some units leading up to that big day, then you can turn on that big badge, that 20, 30, 40% off, like a Prime exclusive deal. That badge, that number looks fantastic. You get funneled into all that additional traffic, and then you can really expand your spend, and you'll be fine with your margins.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see it time and time again. Big companies have massive sales, and the funny part is it's not usually as big of a sale as you think. They typically will just increase the price and they'll drop it. So it's a strategy that works. It works on Amazon as well, and it works really good leading up to the event. And I think if you're not taking advantage of any kind of big sales events, let alone Prime Days, this is an easy way for you to increase velocity, to get the data to make better decisions, for you to scale your business in those times where you're not taking advantage of a sales event.
Yeah. And then what you want to do is basically the day after the sale event, you're going to want to readjust. So you'll readjust your base price, and then you're going to shrink those ads back down to where they were with those ads that were converting well. So you need to kind of make a note as to what you've expanded, and go back to that same playbook.
Yep.
So I like to do things in portfolios. So I'll have a portfolio of just deal days, and then I'll have a portfolio of my normal running.
Okay.
And then I'll even have portfolios for several different objectives, usually the way that we structure it. So we'll have ranking campaigns, we'll have profitability campaigns. And when you have those as standard campaigns, then you know you don't touch those. But then you can create a portfolio for just deal days. And you can crank those on, and then those will be wider targets. You'll go longer tail. You'll really get aggressive for those specific deal days. But then the day the deal's ending, you kind of, and now it's usually a deal week.
Yeah.
But you'll see it kind of like putter out. So by that third, fourth day, you're going to want to retract that. But you want that, on for the biggest days.